Ahead on Q2, going for gold.
Gold has taken off.
The price of the precious metal is surging, now at more than $3,000 an ounce. Plus,
it's not fair that I get to live and the baby boy didn't even get a chance.
A 20-year-old apologizes but will now be spending the rest of his life behind bars for his role in a Billings double homicide case. And
I'm Jonathan Ambarian at the state capitol, where Montana leaders say the need for more prison capacity in Montana is only growing. I'll have a closer look at two proposals here at the state legislature that would put hundreds of millions of dollars into adding or expanding prison facilities.
The MTN 430 news starts right now. Well, good afternoon, and thanks for joining us on this Tuesday. I'm Russ Riesinger. The markets bounced back today, erasing Monday's big losses on Wall Street. But despite those gains, the Dow Jones Industrial Average has had one of its worst months since 1932, when America was in the middle of the Great Depression. The International Monetary Fund is warning that President Trump's tariffs will slow down the global and U.S. economies, and Trump's attacks on Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell have also made investors nervous.
The dollar fell to its lowest level in 3 years. Usually when you have tariffs, the dollar rises. This tells us that the international community is selling America, and that is not good for any of us.
And that has many people looking for a safe place to put their money. While the dollar is dropping, the price of gold has been surging. Our Haley Monaco talked to one local business about what they've seen.
I know it's been up and down over the past few years.
Now, gold is at an all-time high.
I think that's wild, and I think I should probably invest.
As all eyes are on the price of gold, One Billings business is busy with people coming in trying to sell their own.
People are looking for a safe haven for their money.
At over $3,000 an ounce, the price of the precious metal has taken off.
When I started the business, it was $255 back in 1993. So it's gone up about 11 times since then. It's quite a difference.
Here at Artie's Coins, they're just trying to keep up.
We do about 60 customers a day on average, so we stay very, very busy. And right now we see a few individuals are buying, but the majority are selling.
And they're selling for good reason. This is an ounce of gold, and on Tuesday, its price sat at around $3,400. Mostly, I believe, because the dollar has been falling. It's fallen probably about 6 or 7% just recently. Right now, we're seeing a lot of volatility. It's just the same as the stock market. Everything's kind of in flux right now. From scrap jewelry to golden nuggets.
But I'm thinking about panning now.
Everyone is looking for a profit.
If you got extra gold, it's a good time to take some off the table.
In Billings, Haley Monaco, MTN News.
150 years, that's how long 20-year-old Myron Goes-Ahead is sentenced to spend in prison in the double homicide of a Billings man and his young son. Goes-Ahead, who pled guilty to one count of deliberate homicide and one count of negligent, took the stand to apologize before that sentence was handed down.
It's not fair that I get to live and your baby boy didn't even get a chance. I hope all of you can find peace, justice, and closure in the sentence given to me today. I'll face my consequences on my judgment day here and with God.
Goes-Ahead, along with two others, were charged in the drive-by shooting deaths of 31-year-old Kenneth Morrison and his one-year-old son to take. The crime happened on November 1st of 2023 in the 700 block of North 17th Street. Morrison was found shot to death in his bedroom, while Take was found unresponsive in his arms, with authorities saying he died of compression asphyxia. Surveillance video from the scene captured Goes-Ahead and the other suspects pulling up to the house in a pickup, with two people exiting and firing shots at the home. 31-year-old Jane Nicole Noses Gun has already been sentenced to 10 years for tampering with evidence, while 19-year-old Godfrey Broken Rope has pled not guilty to 2 counts of deliberate homicide. A Billings man pled not guilty today on a charge of attempted deliberate homicide for an attack on his wife that prosecutors say she might not survive. 44-year-old Jesse John Strack was arrested Friday after police were sent to a residence on Wyoming Avenue for the report of an overdose. When arriving, police found a 46-year-old woman unresponsive, with Strack indicating she had hit him several times before her injuries occurred, suggesting she likely fell. He said he found her by a bathtub and tried to revive her with water before calling 911. However, detectives quickly determined her injuries, including a broken neck, did not align with an overdose. Toxicology reports also showed no illegal drugs in her system, and surveillance video showed the two in a physical fight before the 911 call. Strack's bond has been set at $500,000.
We began this Tuesday in a fairly clear way for much of Montana and Wyoming. The clouds starting to build this afternoon, even some isolated showers and a few thunderstorms trying to develop between Havre and also Jordan. As you can see, some rain and snow showers trying to fall over the Beartooth and the Absarokas, and some more active weather for far northeastern Montana. Even some light snow showers trying to fall near the Canadian border. But tonight we'll have a fairly seasonable night. More clouds and showers Wednesday, more showers than that Thursday. Your forecast coming up.
For much of this year's legislative session, lawmakers have debated the need for more prison capacity in Montana. Today, the Senate advanced a bill directing hundreds of millions of dollars toward addressing that issue. MTN's Jonathan Ambarian looks at what that money could be used for.
State leaders say Montana's prisons are significantly overcrowded, and their projections show the need for additional capacity is only increasing. Lawmakers are considering more than $400 million in spending this session that would add or expand prison facilities.
What this bill does is it recognizes the fact that we need beds. It sets aside money to try to figure out what the most economical or thoughtful way to go forward with getting beds.
The Senate gave initial approval Tuesday to House Bill 833, which would set aside more than $250 million. $4 million of it would be used for assessing the state's current prison system and planning for future changes. The rest would be used for renovating or building prison facilities, including a new facility to house female offenders. Senator John Esp said Tuesday that there are dozens of inmates waiting for spaces at the Montana Women's Prison in Billings. He said the state is looking at making upgrades to a facility in Boulder to hold female inmates in the short term, but there's still a need for a longer-term option.
In about 4 or 5 years, we'll have a lot more capacity at Deer Lodge for men, and I think we'll have capacity at least at the projected rates of growth in that population to house most of our male prisoners there. So we need to do the same with female prisoners.
House Bill 5, the session's major bill to fund capital projects, includes another $150 million to build new housing pods at the Montana State Prison in Deer Lodge, adding more than 500 beds. The legislature approved another $150 million last session to replace some of the existing housing pods there. Also on Tuesday, the Senate advanced House Bill 643. It appropriates state money to reimburse counties for holding people in their jails while they wait for a court-ordered evaluation or placement in a facility like the Montana State Hospital. In Helena, Jonathan Ambarian, MTN News.
House Bill 267, also known as Bobby's Law, has cleared its final legislative hurdle and is now headed to the governor's desk. Bobby's Law creates a new criminal offense, aggravated vehicular homicide while under the influence. The felony offense would apply to anyone who kills another person while driving under the influence if their blood alcohol was twice the legal limit or under court restrictions from past DUIs. An individual convicted of the crime would face up to 30 years in prison with a minimum of 3 years. The law is named after Bobby Dubray, who was celebrating his 21st birthday in March of 2023 when he was hit and killed by a drunk driver outside Columbia Falls. Excitement is in the air. Special Olympics Montana getting ready for the return of the state games here in Billings.
I do have family members who have participated in Special Olympics, and this has been one of the highlights of their lives.
15 volunteers gathered this morning, sorting through 1,700 T-shirts for Special Olympics Montana athletes, unified partners, and registered volunteers. With so many volunteers on hand, they made quick work of the process, finishing in 2 instead of the allotted 8 hours. One volunteer, Brittany Jensen, has been helping out at Special Olympics Montana for 8 years. She says she enjoys witnessing the resilience of the athletes and the support they have for each other. And Jensen has a special connection to the games. Her sister competed growing up.
So it's always been something that has been super meaningful to me, and it just makes me feel close to her when I get to volunteer and I get to just see all the joy and the love of people.
Special Olympics Montana will need more than 1,000 volunteers for the games, which run from May 14th through the 16th. If you're interested in volunteering, you can check out this story on ktvq.com and the Q2 Facebook page. Preparations are underway for the funeral of Pope Francis as leaders of the Catholic Church begin gathering to decide the future of the papacy. The Vatican announced that Francis will lie in state beginning tomorrow, with his funeral planned for Saturday. John Beaver reports from Rome.
The Vatican have announced that the funeral of Pope Francis will take place this coming Saturday at 10 a.m. local time. Last-minute preparations are now underway to ensure that goes smoothly. There are dozens of heads of state expected to attend, among them President Trump and the First Lady, as well as presidents, prime ministers and kings and queens from across Europe and around the world. We're also expecting to see hundreds of thousands of mourners gathering here as well as they come to pay their final respects to Pope Francis. Now, this all makes it an incredibly challenging logistical and security operation for the authorities here in Rome and in Vatican City behind me, and all of those challenges are going to have to be dealt with in the coming days as Rome prepares itself for the world to descend upon the city. So there is a huge amount going on, and all of that comes before, of course, the conclave starts. That will start no sooner than May 5th, where the process of choosing a new pope begins. John Beaver, Scripps News Group, Rome.